I'm a night-stalking, crime-fighting vigilante. I don't feel anything emotionally except for rage.
Everyone knows who Batman is, but prior to 2017, the vast majority of DC Comics' Batverse was still waiting to be faithfully translated to the silver screen. Then the Lego Batman movie happened. It could have been a glorified toy commercial, but in what came as a delightful surprise to pretty much everyone, it turned out to be the ultimate cinematic love letter to the Dark Knight and one of the most faithful Batman adaptations ever.
I've seen you go through similar phases in 2016 and 2012 and 2008 and 2005 and 1997 and 1995 and 1992 and 1989.
And before we take this topic apart brick by brick, why not take a moment to subscribe to the Nerdstalgic channel? By the early 1980s, the general public mostly associated Batman with the campy 1966 Adam West TV show. A darker, grittier version of the character managed to fight his way onto the screens in the 1989 movie simply titled Batman, directed by Tim Burton. Ever since then, film audiences have been treated almost exclusively to increasingly dark, serious, and realistic takes on the Caped Crusader. The Lego Batman, who appeared in 2014's Lego Movie and who was modeled on the Batman from Burton's movie, was a great satire of these black, body-armored, gravelly-voiced movie Batmen.
Emmett, this is my boyfriend, Batman.
I'm Batman.
His role in the original Lego Movie was to be a romantic rival for the protagonist, Emmett. But along the way, Batman was featured in some of the film's most memorable bits and became something of a breakout character.
If anybody has black parts, I need them, okay? I only work in black. And sometimes very, very dark gray.
Still, it wasn't obvious that he had a tale of his own worth telling, much less one that demanded a spin-off. So when the Lego Batman movie was announced, fans understandably suspected a cash grab. It would be the feature directorial debut of Chris McKay, who had worn a number of hats on the Lego movie but was still greatly an unknown commodity to the public. Turns out, McKay knew what he was doing. From a world-building perspective, Lego Batman instantly realizes what is by far the most expansive version of the Batverse ever to make it onto the big screen. Sure, it all doubles as commercials for Lego figures and playsets, but everything happens in a way that supports the story and character journeys. The film only takes minutes to establish all of Gotham City, Wayne Manor, the Batcave, the Batmobile, the Bat Signal, and a Commissioner Gordon who is used to turning it on every time he's in trouble.
Hey kids, who wants a shot from the merch guy? Great,
It also immediately shows us Batman's marquee supervillains, like the Joker, the Riddler, the Penguin, Catwoman, and Two-Face. This stands in sharp contrast to the more serious takes, which tended to start with origin stories and then build and populate Batman's world piecemeal over the course of several films. Lego Batman is as far from an origin story as you can get. It just dives into a fully formed Batverse, and even many of Batman's more obscure adversaries, like Crazy Quilt, Eraser, Polka Dot Man, Mime, and Condiment King, get to make appearances.
Okay, are you making some of those up?
Nope, they're all real. Probably worth a Google.
The film is full of fun Batman Easter eggs and just generally gushes with love for all things Batman. Given the hyper-detailing, the Lego Batman movie probably could have rested its case on nostalgia alone, but instead, it also delivered what is among the most complete and heartfelt Batman stories ever in a movie. The plot is pretty simple. Despite Batman being the celebrated hero of Gotham, Bruce Wayne spends his life sad, alone, and trying not to think about how much he misses his family. His life is so empty he can walk around Wayne Manor in a bathrobe and cowl. It doesn't matter. There's no one to hide his secret from. But one night, he accidentally adopts plucky, wide-eyed orphan Dick Grayson, and the two team up to take on the Joker. Over the course of their adventure, Batman begins to feel a fatherly pride to his new ward, who, of course, becomes Robin. Meanwhile, the Joker is hurt and outraged because Batman won't admit their rivalry is special.
You mean nothing to me.
So he gets himself sent to the Phantom Zone, where he recruits monsters from other franchises, like Sauron, Lord Voldemort, King Kong, and a bunch of others to help him attack Gotham. The scale of the threat forces Batman to confront his fears. To win the fight, he has to open himself up to being a part of and working with a new family that includes Robin, Alfred, and the new police commissioner, Barbara Gordon.
Why did you build this thing with only one seat?
Because last I checked, I only had one butt.
But to save Gotham City from falling into an abyss, he also has to team up with all of his villains, which means fessing up to his special relationship with the Joker. Chris McKay was a lifelong Batman fan, and it showed in every frame of the movie. crafted a heartfelt ode to found family where the assembled Batverse itself turned out to be the hero of the story. And he did it while simultaneously respecting the mythology of the Lego movie.
If Joker's bomb were to go off, these plates would break apart, plunging every Gotham citizen into the eternal abyss that smells like dirty underwear.
Audiences loved it, critics loved it, and most importantly, Batman fans loved it.
What are you doing?
Punching Bane.
That was unnecessary.
The Lego Batman movie sounded like a stupid idea in the abstract, but that actually turned out to be its greatest strength. It meant it didn't have to worry about seeming goofy. While we still have yet to see a live-action kid version of Robin, the Lego Batman movie built its whole story around the Batman-Robin relationship.
My name's Richard Grayson, but all the kids at the orphanage call me Dick.
Well, children can be cruel.
Yeah.
And the inherently goofy nature of Lego Batman made it easy to hand-wave off some of the problematic aspects of a billionaire using an orphan to perform dangerous superhero work.
Can we use code names? Mine can be Robin.
As in the small, Midwestern, frail bird.
Yeah, and I already have a catchphrase. Tweet, tweet on the street.
Hard pass.
And when he's allowed into the Batcave, his reaction is nothing short of wondrous and rapturous delight. Batman thrusts him into the field on a whim, and he's hilariously great at it, so we're never worried about Lego Robin. It all works because the tone of the overall world is so silly. The aesthetic of the Lego characters also make it so easy to poke light at some of the comic book's arguably dated wardrobe choices, like Robin's green underwear and bare legs.
Pants are just a little tight. I don't know if I can throw a kick or jump in them. I got an idea. Rip! It's better.
It wouldn't have worked in live action, but here it serves as a knowing wink to the camera and sets up Batman for a joke.
I can only look you in the eyes right now.
That kind of thing freed viewers up to focus on the story of two lonely orphans who become each other's found family, without getting bogged down in the kinds of troublesome real-world details that had frustrated previous attempts. Another element of the Batman universe that Lego Batman was able to put back at the center of the storytelling was family, specifically the Bat family, which is the name fans use to describe the core characters in Batman's life. But Lego Batman took the idea of the Bat family to its furthest extreme, and by the time the movie is over, the whole city is effectively Batman's family. Bruce opens himself up to being part of a family again, and he gains his whole world. Most fitting of all is that Bruce's new family forms around Batman. Unlike the more serious tone takes, being the Dark Knight isn't a curse to bear in this universe. In the Lego movie, being Batman is a good thing, and it saves Bruce's life in multiple senses. No wonder Batman fans loved it. In its opening minutes, the movie establishes that Lego Batman remembers the climaxes of Batman '89 and Nolan's Dark Knight.
What about that time with the two boats?
This is better than the two boats.
At the same time, elements of the Adam West show like Egghead and Chief O'Hara and all those wacky silver-aged comic book villains are also a part of his world. And the Lego Batman movie is faithful to all of those experiences. So, what do you think? Did you like the Lego Batman movie, and how do you think it stacked up against other cinematic takes on Batman? Let us know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, check out the rest of the channel.